single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day.
Assalamualaikum and hello YouTube, my name is Nur Muhammad from Animash, and yes, I'm back with another watch review. So anyway, this time around it is the comparison between these, let's just put it right here, right? So this is the comparison between these two watches, the second gen Seiko Monster Dracula, or the official name is Seiko SRP313K1. Yep, that is the model number, and this is the latest version, this 4th generation Seiko Monster, or the official name is SRPD25K1. So you see, I've got both the K1 version. I'm not really into this, Japanese or JDM models, because I think they are made equally. Yeah, so that is what I think. Right, so okay, so before we start the show, let's do a quick wristwatch check. Today I am wearing, I think if you guys are following me on Instagram, so you've seen this watch already. So this is the Proxima. I don't remember the model name, but this is they call this the Proxima Scuba Master, and you can see immediately this is a homage to the MM300 or the SLA. I don't remember the model number of the particular watch that they are homaging, but this is how it looks. So I will do a full review for this particular piece, and yeah, let's stay tuned. Right, so first thing first, let's give you a quick warning. So this is a comparison between these two models, so it is going to be quite a long video. So take, maybe pause the video, grab yourself or make yourself a cup of coffee, and if only watch this if you are a Seiko Monster fan, right? So some people mentioned to me that they can never appreciate the design of the Seiko Monster. I definitely appreciate the design of the Seiko Monster, the 2nd gen onwards. I'm not really into the 1st gen. I love the 2nd gen. This will never leave my collection. The 3rd gen, I'm not really, not really sure about that. But the 4th gen, I do like as well. So some people hate the 4th gen. So if you guys hate the, hate the Seiko Monster design, just take a look at my other videos, right? So okay, so are you ready with your coffees? So let's start the review. Right, so first thing first, let's get the dimensions out of the way. So this is a 42mm diameter watch. This is also a 42mm diameter. The lug to lug on this, both of this is 48mm lug to lug, and the width, the lug width is 20mm, right? So how about the thickness? So let's just check it out using my caliper here, my plastic caliper here. So this one, including the bezel, is at about 12.5. So this one, I'm not gonna be measuring the cyclop there. So this one is about 13mm. So yeah, you can see that this is a bit thicker. I'm not really sure why, because they are using the same movements. The case back, maybe the case back is a bit thinner, a bit thicker, sorry. Yep, so if I can just do a visual comparison here, the case back looks a bit thicker here on the 4th generation, right? So that is the dimension. I have some notes here, guys, so for me to refer, right? So the case finishing, right, or the case finishing, both of these watches has multiple case finishing. You see that we have a brushed bezel here on top, and the case finishing is brushed on top here as well. So it doesn't, from the top you can't really see any of the case design that much. So you see that we have this lug finishing here. There's a brush on top here, and that's about it. On the 4th gen, you can even see less of the case design from the top, because this, what they call this top case is much thinner compared to the 2nd gen. You can see this is maybe about 2.5mm thickness. This is about 2mm thickness, so that is about a bit more thin there, right? So you can see at the bottom here, yeah, the case finishing. On the top of this, you can see that there is a polished finishing on the second generation, however, you don't get that. You don't get that design. So you can see the case on the second gen. Let me see if I can focus. So it's just straight up from the lug. It's just from the lug there is a chamfer of brush chamfer here. But on the fourth generation, you have the lugs, you have the chamfered area, and you have the flat portion of the case, which is in polish. So that leads it to a much more mature look, in my opinion, a bit more bling in my opinion. And yeah, that is why I prefer, basically for the case design, I prefer this fourth generation, right? So at the side, on the side, so you can see that they have entirely revamped the whole design of the watch. So gone are the block keys. So you see that there is a, even on the second generation, let's just show you this side of the watch, right? So we have this design here where there is a cutout here, and what annoys me on this one is when you use it when you use it for 6 years like I do, you can see there's quite a lot of gunk here, and it's quite difficult to clean, right? So on this watch, however, that design has disappeared, and they've put it some kind like a bullet design here, and it is also still polished, and definitely there will be some gunks in the future, but it will not stuck because it will not stuck there because the case is actually not perpendicular to the watch. You can see that there is a slope, or there is a tapering design to it, so it's not straight like that. It's like this. So when there is a gunk or there is some dirt coming into this groove, it will just wash away. But on the Seiko second generation, it is straight, right? So you can see that there's no slope or there's no tapering. That is why whenever there is a dirt or whatever, it will stuck there in this what do you call this cutout here, and that really annoys me, right? So of course you can clean it out, but yeah, still it is a nuisance, right? So that's just for the case design, and I have quite a lot more to go. Oh, one more thing that I must point out. So if you are using the second gen Monster for the first time, when you turn the bezel, your finger will somehow stuck here, right? So this portion here is quite sharp. So when I first use it, I always have this feeling that I might hurt my finger, but yeah, you can see that there is some sharp portions here, and of course here as well. So this is where you must be a bit aware when you turn the bezel, so your fingers might get hurt here and also here, right? So on the fourth gen, however, there is no, when you turn the bezel, this is a bit more polished. They have include a bit more radius to it, so you don't get stuck. Maybe I can just show you a bit, zoom a bit more, so you can see there is a bit of chamfering or some radius there on top of the case or lug here, so you don't hurt yourself. Similarly, on this side there is a bit of chamfering or some radius to make sure that you don't hurt yourself. So a very thoughtful design by Seiko there, right? So let's just go back and make it straight, right? So make it aligned, right? So that is this case finishing and design, and yeah, the dial finishing. Let's get to the dial finishing. On this Seiko 4th generation, this is a dark blue dial with a bit of sunburst finishing to it, whilst on the 2nd generation Monster, this is the black dial. It comes with this matte black dial. So I love both of them. So you know what, I don't really care which finishing, but for me Seiko is very great at designing their own dial, and yeah, I love both of them. But if I am to choose right now which is my preference, it would be this blue sunburst-ish dial. So basically what Seiko have done is they don't want to make it too flashy like the Orient Mako 2. So ever since the I can just bring in, if I can just bring in this Seiko SRPA21 monster, so you can see that this this turtle, this parry turtle, also has that same sunburst, a bit of sunburst, a bit of not flat, but a bit of sunburst style here, and also they replicate the same type of finishing to this particular 4th gen monster, and I prefer this over the sunburst style of any, you know, Orient Meiko or Orient Ray 2 or even the Orient Komatsu. I kind of prefer this because it doesn't look too blingy for a dive watch. So this is blue, this is dark teal, not blue dial, right? Anyway, so that is the dial, and the on here you can see we have this hour markers. Some people hate it because it doesn't look like a monster, they said. So this is the real monster, where we have this shark tooth finishing with that, you know what, very angry looking white indices with this red surrounding here. This is of course printed, and they print quite a lot of bright lume here. We have this hour marker all in whites, and it will go green later on. I will do a lume shot later on. Oops, sorry about that. I fit the camera, and this one, it's a bit blocky, so this is reminiscence to the ones that you could find on the 1st gen and the 3rd gen monster. And we have this again, we have this similar indices, 12 in the hour indices type. There is a bit of flat or straight line here. The 2nd gen is much more rectangular. Sorry, much more. We have, what do you call this? This is a triangular. Sorry, and if the 4th gen has these rectangular markers with this cream dial, or sorry, cream color, which will glow in blue, right? So that is the dial. So let's talk about. I'm referring to my notes here, guys. All right, so let's talk about the chaptering, right? So that chaptering I've mentioned in my full video review. Let's just really wipe this thing out. That the chaptering on the Seiko Monster 4th gen is a bit slanted to the left, so you can basically see right there on top here, and of course on this chaptering here, not that much, maybe about 0.5 millimeters, but yeah, that is for me, when you see it, you will see it for the rest of your life. So you know what, typical Seiko quality issue there, but I don't really hate it, but you know what, it's just quite annoying because they won't want to fix it. Because I've had an issue with my SBDC053 before. I mentioned to the sellers that I want to get that chaptering fixed or aligned, so they say the Seiko will not entertain you. So it is how it is. So it's a bit annoying. Okay. Also, I totally forgot to mention about the indices, the hour indices featuring this, what do you call this, applied indices, and on top of that they put quite a lot of lume. So that is the difference between the 4th gen and the 2nd generation, right? So let's talk about the 2nd generation's chaptering. So again, I thought that this is the most, you know, perfectly aligned chaptering. For the past 6 years I've been living with it, and I don't really care. And when I look properly, there is a bit of an off-centered, especially on this 9 o'clock, and subsequently there is a bit of centering on the 12 o'clock there. So it's not that much, but yeah, you can see it, right? So you know what, it is typical Seiko. It is what it is. You just have to suck it up and move on, right? So let's go to what else. The hands finishing mentioned just. Let's take a look. So this one, the 2nd generation, has this all painted hand finishing. On this case, it is a red red glossy finishing. Yeah, you can see on this Seiko Monster 2nd gen. I believe on the black dial version will also have this painted finishing. On the 4th gen, however, we have this metal brushed finishing, which looks a bit coarse, a bit too rough in my opinion. Let's see if you can zoom in a bit more, so before the picture becomes lousy. You can see that we have that brush finishing, which is not that nice, but yeah, still not that bad, but still it's a bit too rough. But yeah, anyway, so that is how it looks, right? So this is what you could find. Okay, so the hand finishing is not that good, but still for a tool, a supposedly tool wash, so it is not really that bad, right? So what else? The hands finishing, yeah, the dial printing. So I'm looking at my notes, guys. So the dial printing on this Seiko 4th gen, so we have this silver printed Seiko logo on the top, and we have again the Prospex logo down there. At the 6 o'clock we have automatic diverse 200 meters, and at the bottom side we have this 4R36 movement written down there, and all is written in silver. And this silver color matches the color, the printing on the chapter ring, and yeah, for me it looks just nice, and the silver color plays really nice with this brush finishing of the case, right? So on the other hand, the 2nd gen monster, it features a white printing, which of course matches the one on the the dial printing is in white color, right? So you can see there, but on the chapter ring is in silver color. So let me just zoom in a bit, so you can see that there is a contrast between this the silver color printing on the chapter ring, of course, plays nice with the metal bezel here, but it doesn't really match the printing on the dial, whilst this one matches perfectly, right? So what else that we can say about this printing? I think that's all, right? So anyway, on the dial again, this day and date window is also printed, right? So on the 4th generation they don't have any printing because they already have this Cyclops, right? So people really like to hate Cyclops. I don't know why, but yeah, we'll get to that one later, right? So the date will, of course, the Cyclops, you can, this is what they call a candy bar Cyclops. I personally, to be completely honest, I like it, because you know what, I'm 44 this year, I am aging, guys. So you, for those who have, you know, when you grow older, so your eyes will start failing you, so this is where these Cyclops help. But even if they don't have the Cyclops, Seiko is still using the same version of the 4R36, and when you see the 4R36 day and date wheel here, I believe even if you have problem with your eyesight, you will still be able to see that as well. So I'm not really sure why they went for the Cyclops here, but I don't hate it, guys, so I appreciate it. But yeah, it's not really a deal breaker for me, right? So what else on this part? So yeah, let's just keep it for part 1, right? So I've closing to 20 minutes here, so let's just keep it for part 1. So until next time, please take a rest and grab yourself another cup of coffee, and we'll see you at part 2.